to another episode of Going All In, Get the Edge You Need to Succeed. I am Dr. Erin McKinley, and today I have another awesome spotlight session with Debra Wein, the CEO and founder of Wellness Workdays Distance Dietetic Internship Program. Welcome, Debra.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, tell us all about your program.
I am thrilled to be here with you, Erin. Thank you so much, and to all of the LSU and other students who have joined us today. And I'm thrilled as a program director to share with you more about the Wellness Workdays Dietetic Internship, and very excited to let you know that you'll be able to meet and chat with our special guest, Natalya Erbel, who's one of our current interns. So thanks so much for having us. So a brief sort of intro to who we are, because what I think is different about Wellness Workdays in our program is that when you join our family, you're not just joining an internship or a program. You really become a larger part of our community. And I think if you talk to any one of our current interns or our staff or our graduates and alums, you'll get that same sort of sense of community, that we're here to support one another, not just throughout the program, but beyond. So Wellness Workdays, I founded it just about 16 years ago, and it's a corporate wellness company. We design and deliver employee wellness programs. So soon after developing Wellness Workdays, we really focused a lot on bringing in interns, and then we started to get many dietetic interns asking about our program and how they could complete some rotations with us. So I'll tell you a little bit more about how that happened and how that went down. But before I do that, just about a year and a half ago, Wellness Workdays acquired another coaching firm, another wellness firm called OMC Wellness, based in Portland, Maine, and we're based just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And they focus a lot on health coaching. So that, again, provides additional opportunities for our current students and our graduates to participate and find employment. So in the middle of all of this is our dietetic internship, which enables our interns, again, to work on the worksite wellness and health promotion side with these two organizations, as well as participate in various research studies that we've been involved with and are currently involved with throughout the last several years with some of our partners at Harvard Medical School, Harvard School of Public Health. In fact, we've received some funding through Harvard with the National Institutes of Health, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, etc. So we think of ourselves as a little different because we're not a standalone dietetic internship. We like to offer a lot more to our interns, and our alums contribute in that way. So I know, Erin, you had asked me to talk a little bit about my background and how Wellness Workdays started. And as I mentioned, I did my undergraduate and graduate degree at Cornell and then Columbia Universities with a focus on nutrition and exercise physiology. So I was very much interested in sports nutrition. And so the beginning part of my career, I spent a lot of time working with professional athletes, USA track and field Olympic athletes, professional as well as recreational athletes. And then when to move on to found Wellness Workdays, really focused on corporate wellness because it really intrigued me to be able to manage and work with larger populations of people and help them to get healthy and get well. And so when the dietetic internship started, it was really, as you see on this slide, that last bullet, we had been getting invitations and opportunities to talk about sort of what we do at Wellness Workdays and more about the counseling that we provide and the health promotion, disease prevention. And then we started to get more and more interns from different programs from across the U.S. come to Boston to talk about and participate in some of our rotations. So it really struck me that there was a wonderful opportunity to really spread the area of worksite wellness and health promotion, which has since increased to 2 additional concentrations, and allow registered dietitians to really focus on these fantastic, emerging areas of wellness. So for us at Wellness Workdays, if you want to go into clinical or food service, great. You want to go and be a sports RD, work in worksite wellness health promotion, work in communications, that's great too. So I think that's a little different from some of the more traditional programs, as I'll be able to share with you in a future slide. You can see from the breakdown of our supervised practice hours, you get experiences in all of these areas, but we really allow you to take an assessment and really understand, what are some key areas that you would like to really be involved in, and you can learn and focus on those wonderful areas that we really value at Wellness Workdays. So luckily for me, I don't do this alone at all. I have several other partners who work with me. And you can see from our list here that we have a whole staff of people who get involved and serve as program advisors for our dietetic internship. So you will always have the support that you need and work very closely with myself, a manager, and one of our advisors throughout the year. So as you sort of look to the different programs and try to understand, where you belong and where you fit, I feel it's a really wonderful opportunity to peruse the website, to, go to the virtual open houses and get to know the team, get to know the staff, read about the philosophy of the different programs you're looking at. Because to me, that's the best way for you to enhance your match rate, or to get the program that you love and want to be a part of, because it'll feel right to you. It'll feel good to you, because then you'll see that there's a philosophical match, which is a great way to, again, choose a program. We as a distance program, I think, are fighting somewhat of an uphill battle, because people are a little concerned and don't really know what a distance program is. They're a little concerned that it might really be, too much work for them, or it might be too hard to find rotations, etc. But that's really not the case, and I'll share with you, a little bit more about that in a moment. But the real huge opportunity is that you can choose a location and locations and rotations in your local setting. So from the very beginning of your program, you're able to customize it, make it your own. So there's no two graduates of our program who have had the same program, gone through the same program. And to us, that's really exciting. So we think that this is a unique and flexible, innovative program. You get to focus on the here, the now. You can really think about the key areas of our concentrations, as I've mentioned. And if these areas speak to you, that's a wonderful way to participate with us. Looking at the way our program is set up, you'll be able to focus on and develop great networking opportunities, so that when you're finished with your internship, you might already be very well situated to have a job. So as opposed to being in a specific location where you leave and then come back, if you have a family, that's difficult. So in this instance, we're able to really bring you the opportunity to start from the very beginning of your internship and really start to develop your future career. I'll talk a little bit about the master's degree in a moment. So just as with any program, looking at the breakdown on the website, you can see our breakdown. And, this really tells you about the actual program, because it tells you sort of what their areas of focus really is. So here you can see that our concentrations really help you, give you enough opportunity to focus on key areas. So as an example, I've heard of other programs who mention sports nutrition as an elective or a rotation, but here we're providing 240 hours for you to spend in your concentration. So spending 240 hours with a sports RD is an incredible opportunity to really set yourself up for a future placement in that key area. So as I mentioned, we have 3 different concentrations, and if you attend one of our future open houses, we'll talk more about this. But to me, if you ask me right here, right now, which would you choose? I'd be hard pressed. And that's our goal. We want to really give you the opportunity to get excited about your internship. So to make it your own. So you could choose to work in an employee wellness program and focus on worksite wellness and health promotion. You can choose to work with a sports-minded RD or a professional sports team or college, D1 or other teams. you can focus on working with brand management or nutrition communications, magazines, any of these exciting marketing opportunities. So again, we're in 2020. It's a far cry from where, RDs started. Clearly, there's a huge focus on understanding the clinical aspects of dietetics, and you have to become an RD. But many of us really are passionate about these other key areas. So, personally and professionally and our team, we're thrilled to be able to find, again, like-minded interns and future RDs who feel the same way we do, that there's so much that we can bring to the table in these kinds of settings and opportunities. So as an example, as I mentioned to you, we're so thrilled to be able to bring our interns and have them spend a minimum of 240 hours. Some of them are also able to do their food service and their community rotations and all but the clinical and long-term care with a professional sports team. And so what we've been able to do, and that promise I made to you about that community, is you can see some of our teams here, but as an example, we have several of our graduates are now working as RDs and sports nutritionists with NBA teams. And then once they're settled, they then bring in future RDs. So as the Celtics, as an example, we've had about 4 different RDs, interns, and we have 2 full-time staff who are the sports RDs for the Celtics. And that's true for several other of the teams you see here. So our promise and our goal and our intent is that you go through our program, you finish up, and then you give back. So wherever you're working, you now bring in another member of our community to help train them and work with them. And that's really been to everyone's advantage, because everybody needs a mentor, a community, a group to support you as you're trying to figure out sort of where you want to be. So again, these are settled and affiliated sports teams that we already have affiliations with, that our students, when you apply to the program, can choose and rank these. And we have others that are in the works and that even aren't on here currently. So this to us is a really exciting way how we can innovate, build our community, and help support our interns. So these kinds of things are what we think about, dream about, and do every day at Wellness Workdays. We're regularly thinking about what's next, what's new, how can we help our interns be successful. And as another example, giving our interns the Gene Inman review course is something that we thought would be appropriate, and now we do that for the last 3 years. We're giving that to all of our interns because we think that helps. And it does help that Gene Inman lives just a couple of towns over from us outside of Boston, so that's thrilling, to meet her. So those of you that don't know her, you will get to know her. So often we're asked, how does WWDI compare to other clinical programs? And what is so surprising to many is that most interns don't necessarily appreciate that you need to complete the same competencies of every other accredited dietetic internship. So even though we're a distance program, you still need to meet the same competencies as any other program you might look at in the areas of clinical, community, and food service. So there's a bottom line similar program that's happening across the US, and that's the accreditation and the standardization. But what's different is that we honestly and truly believe that this is about you. We don't sit there when we get close to match day and think, wow, you are so lucky to have us. We think the other way. We're honored to have you apply and be a part of our program. We, as I mentioned, love to develop our community and think of it as a long-term commitment, one to each other. And you'll hear me talk about that during our orientation. I talk about that during our commencement, because to us, that's really important, that it's not just another internship. There's more that we can do to help one another. So what else is different? Our concentrations. You can personalize your program. You can choose which concentration, obviously, and then also some other ways to make it your own because of location. So we have had to pivot as an organization and an internship, just like everybody else has with, COVID and 2020. So we've actually developed a very intensive I have to say, really impressive. I didn't do it, but we have several other RDs who have clinical experience, and they've developed this simulated clinical rotation. So for those of our interns who were either, set up to do their clinical rotation on site, who got pulled or haven't been able to set one up because of COVID, we're training our interns very intently on the competencies. So we've purchased some software which enables you to get patient interaction, and it's a very methodical way to learn clinical. So I cannot say in a public setting that it might even be a better experience. You didn't hear that here. But think about the methodical way you might learn about the different aspects of each chronic, disease and the diseases that you have to learn about. And then it's enabled with simulated activities and counseling and coaching. And it's all put together in a package for you with the support of each other, group presentations, and clinical RDs on our staff. So we've pivoted to bring the best to our interns because that's what we do and what we feel that we have to do regularly. So that's just a fun sort of, new thing we've done. So as a distance DI, we often get the question, but what if I can't find a placement? You're encouraging me to apply with some rotations, but what if I can't find one? Well, the answer is every single one of our interns has found placements. Plus, we have a database of rotations and preceptors that we've worked with through the years that chances are in your location we'll be able to find you and help you find those rotations. And what we hear from all of our interns who have done this distance program, it's worth the effort. So just briefly, we believe that it's our responsibility to help you succeed. And so as a distance program, this is what I want you to realize. As a distance DI, you will need to secure rotations once accepted, but we do that with you. We can help you once you're accepted into our program. And then we do everything else for you. So it's not extra work because we're providing all of the contracts and agreements with the rotations and the placements. We are communicating with all of these preceptors who we might not have worked with before. We prepare you for the supervised practice hours before you ever go on site. We provide all the projects, assignments, the exam prep, the homework. We do that all for you and prep that for you. So you're essentially participating in any other dietetic internship program. You're just doing a little bit more of it virtually, but hello, here we are. Everybody's doing it virtually, right? So we were definitely ahead of the game in this way anyway. So we take you through every step of the way, just as you would find in a traditional program. So that's, I think, the biggest difference. And that's where I feel like many interns don't hear that or learn that when they're going through this process. So as you have probably heard, come 2024, you will need to apply for, or you'll need to have a master's in order to become and sit for an RD exam. But yet again, we've had this combined MSDI program for about, I want to say at least 4 or 5 years. Not that we knew this was coming, but we thought this was a wonderful opportunity for our interns. So there's more information on our website. We currently have 2 opportunities, one with Merrimack College, which is an on-site 1-year combined MSDI program, and they give you a good amount of money towards the tuition. So it's on site in northern, just north of Boston. And then Simmons is an online 2 years combined program with us. We are looking into developing additional relationships as well. So keep looking for the website, for our website for more details on this. Simmons also gives a very nice tuition reimbursement as part of our relationship and partnership. But again, we just felt like this was something that would be really beneficial for our interns. So we've developed this years ago, and we are now planning for 2024 with some new, really exciting opportunities coming soon. So again, if you check our website, you'll see a lot more on this information. So I'm getting to the more important, interesting topic, Natalya. I'm going to hand this over to her in a minute. And so our graduates work at all different places. And this is just a random listing because, again, we take 95 interns every year. And you see in my background, this was the last year where we could all be together. This was the graduating class of 2019. But we've done virtual, and we do virtual smaller groups. Our interns and alums work across the U.S. They work in clinical, in food service, in sports, in worksite wellness, in all aspects of dietetics and communications, etc. So I want you to realize that you will certainly have an opportunity to, follow your passion and your dreams, hopefully with the help of some of our alums that are listed here and many others. So I'd love to have Natalya, if you want to maybe spend a couple of minutes and talk to us a little bit about what maybe your favorite part was about the program, and if you have any tips for our intern prospects.
Sure. Hi, everybody, and thanks, Debra, and thank you, Erin, for having us on here. So I just completed my internship just a couple months ago. I'm super excited. I was in 2019, and I did all of my rotations in San Diego, California. And some of the things that Debra, that she just went over, that she did a really good job explaining, was that I did think that this was a very innovative program. There's so many outside concentrations that you really don't, I at least didn't see in any other type of internship. And I loved, the type of concentrations that you could choose from. I personally had a really hard time choosing which one. And I love that we were able to do it anywhere that we wanted. So I love the flexibility. And then for me, I needed to work part-time. And that was really hard to find, was doing a distance internship part-time while finding work. So I was really grateful to be able to do both, because I really didn't see that in a lot of internships. So I was really able to move forward with my life and do it, create it the way I wanted to, and be really specific on exactly where I wanted to go. And I am so grateful, because I really can't think of any way other than, the pandemic that I could ever want to change anything in my rotations. Everything was so amazing. And Debra said it right. It's a lot of work to actually find your places and secure your rotations. But once you find that, it's smooth sailing from there. And Debra and the entire team did such a great job in being there, supporting us. Any questions that we had, they did a great job. And as they were talking, or Debra was just talking about moving everything online, I was in a rotation when the pandemic hit, and the amount of work that they had to do so quickly and so smoothly was just beyond me. I was just so taken aback and happy to be part of an internship that just made us feel so secure throughout such unsure and unprecedented times. And so they really, thank you so much, Debra, for doing that, and the whole team. And, that's really what's allowing us to continue moving on during these times safely. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And we'll have time to ask Natalya some questions as well. And so just to wrap up, and I'll hand this back over to you, Erin, thank you. 4 things that I think just help us, really provide you all with the potential, best program opportunity. Again, it's the location of your choice. You can choose where you want to do your rotations. Right now, much of it is virtual, but eventually we imagine it'll be back in place. We're a community, not just an internship. You can really design your own experiences. And if you haven't met my DI staff, you need to, because they're some of the most, as Natalya mentioned, just committed, dedicated, caring RD, group of RDs that you might ever meet. Like, they're just so passionate about helping our interns and our alums, as you heard here. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a taste of Wellness Workdays, and we're happy to, both answer questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation. So I prepared 5 questions that I ask every director that comes on the podcast. And I know you got a little bit of a sneak peek earlier today, but these questions were compiled with the help of the students in our program, kind of seeing what are some of the major things that they wanted to know from directors. So the first question is there a particular thing that you love to see on a personal statement?
Great question. I have to confess, I sneak peeked, but I've been running full throttle all day, so I haven't given it much thought. So here's my sort of, off the cuff. So I think what our team loves to see and hear is why wellness workdays. Like, as I mentioned, just knowing that we are philosophically aligned really helps us to know that you're making a good choice and we're making a good choice. So if you could explain to us and let us know, why are you passionate about the Wellness Workdays program, that helps us to really know that you're going to give it your all and you're going to be in it with us for the long term as well.
All right. So this next question is a true or false question. So true or false, an applicant's resume should always be one page and one page only. Either way, why?
Great question. I think for applicants, I'll say true. And why I'll say true is because as a career, I look at resumes all the time because we're hiring, again, many of our alums for different jobs, et cetera. But, for a professional, I'm always looking for a one-pager period. So I think you might as well get into that groove and give me one page and make it count.
All right, perfect. So what is one thing that an applicant could do that would be a total deal breaker for you? So say something they do in their application, their statement, in their video, maybe if you happen to meet them in some sort of setting, something that kind of raises a red flag where you would say they are not appropriate for this program.
And I'm laughing because a couple of years ago, we asked for a 2-minute YouTube video. And some of the videos we received were just, I don't want to say not professional because we're not looking for a choreographed, but, if you've got an unmade bed and lots of empty wine and beverages in the back, maybe you should have rethought that. We have people who sit sort of like this and it just don't seem like they're really passionate about, what they're doing and the application process. So that's, I think, a big turnoff. And if I can add, I'll say for my team, what they really dislike is when we get a personal statement that says, I'm so excited about your blank program and it's not Wellness Workdays. I personally realize, I get it. You're applying to a lot of programs, but they get turned off. They just feel like, if you didn't have enough time and energy and focus to really let us know that it's us you want, maybe it's not a great fit.
All right. So what is one area of the program that you're actively working on trying to make even better for the interns?
Yeah, and I'll have to say it's the clinical experience, just to make sure we develop this new and we're regularly asking for feedback from the current interns so that we can improve it. But, at Wellness Workdays, we believe in continuous improvement. So we do exit surveys, we do orientation surveys, we do rotation surveys. So our team meets at a minimum 3 to 4 times a month just to focus on, what are we going to improve? How are we going to innovate? What do we need to do to be the best we can be for our interns?
All right, perfect. So my last question is a 2-parter. So the first part is, what would be the 3 best adjectives or descriptors to describe your program?
Oh, to describe our program? So I would say innovative. Let's see, what else would I say? Community oriented. And that's a good question. What else? Maybe resilient. I feel like we have had to be resilient in these times and really pivot and change rotations, our orientation, all of that. We've had to really pivot. So I'll have to say resilient.
Okay. So the second part would be the 3 best adjectives or descriptors for your ideal applicant.
Great. So I'm going to put resilient in there too, because I feel like you need to be resilient. You need to be communicative, because you are remote potentially. And then I'll say, I want to say sort of independent self-starter. So somebody who has, initiative, because as with any traditional program, I feel like, similarly, nobody says, all right, Natalya, it's Monday morning, let's go on to your clinical rotation. So you have to be a self-starter. You have to sort of have that initiative to be like, okay, tomorrow I'm starting clinical. Am I ready? Do I need support? What do I need? I think that's a trait that all interns need to possess, but I feel like that's something that we really value.
All right, perfect. So I encourage the students that are live with us this evening to enter any questions that you have in the chat area. I don't see any right now. Does anyone want to ask a question themselves live? They can just go ahead and unmute. Well, I have plenty of backup questions I'll ask in the meantime. So with the master's program, is that when students are accepted, are they required to pick one of the options, or can they opt to not do that?
Great question. And so you can choose the DI only or one of the master's programs. It doesn't have to be, you can choose either or.
Is that a decision that they can make after they're matched, or do they have to kind of say that in their application?
So we ask for it in the application because if you're applying, it's a dual acceptance. So we will then say, we work with Merrimack and we work with Simmons to say, these are the students, and would you accept them if we accept them? And so there's a whole lot of sort of behind the scenes. But we have had students who have come in just as DI and then gone into masters, and then vice versa. So you don't have to. And again, this class, it's, irrelevant, but come 2024, and that's what we're working towards to figure out just will that look like, because you'll either have to have a master's when you apply or go through with a master's combined program. So we're looking into, providing maybe MPH, MBA, in addition to some of the nutrition and sort of management masters we have now.
Still don't see any questions from the students, so I'll ask another one. I didn't see this in the presentation. What are the minimums, like the GPA requirements to apply?
Yes, and I have a bunch of other slides which I didn't include, so I'll encourage everybody to come to our virtual open house. But we have a 3.0 preferred GPA. And we don't say that it has to be 3.0 because we have taken students with less. And that's where your personal statement would give us a really good understanding of why, you might have a lower GPA, and maybe that GPA is not representative of your, ability to succeed in an internship and pass the RD exam. So, we encourage you to look at and utilize the personal statement in that way.
Okay, perfect. And we did mention the application video. So what are some of the things you would like applicants to really focus on in that video?
Yep. So we have instructions on our website, which you apply through DICAS. And then we also have a supplemental application, which under intern resources, you'll be able to see sample rotation schedules and a blank rotation schedule, and it'll have the supplemental application. So that's where there's information about the YouTube video. Again, just 2 minutes, doesn't have to be flashy, but we want to know why you want to be an RD and why do you want to be a part of the Wellness Workdays program. And, it's very humbling, I have to say, like listening to some of the videos and just hearing, just the passion that people have and determination to join, and become an RD. It's really very inspiring. It's one of my favorite times of year is just reading the applications, and watching these videos. I think our whole team, we just really enjoy it because we get to see, and hear from just, the genuine, just, passion for nutrition and dietetics.
And you mentioned your team reviewing the applications. Is that exactly the person's listed on that slide? Is that who reviews all of the applicants, or do you have outside folks do it as well?
We also try to have 1 or 2 students get involved as well, whether they're students or recent alums involved in the process as well.
Okay. So we have a question from Hunter. She wants to know, is the GRE required even if you don't plan on doing the master's at the same time?
It is not required.
Okay. And then do you have an earlier deadline for your application than the normal DICAS deadline?
We do not. We have February 15th. We stick with the norm. But I have to say, we look. And so if we get early applications, we notice. So if you're, I encourage you, you want our program, another program, like apply early. I personally, like, I'm looking and saying, oh my goodness, who is this? They're like 2 weeks early. Let's look and see. So, I feel like you can set yourself apart, by doing that.
I give that advice. I say, pretend there's no 5. It's February 1st.
Exactly. Yes. Well, because there's so much, often there's, issues with, I don't want to say, but like with the application system and things like that and the time zone. So definitely don't wait till February 15th.
All right. So I guess I can ask this question of Natalya. What is some advice you can give some potential applicants on approaching potential preceptors?
That's a great question. I would say if you're looking at doing a specific rotation site or somebody specific, I would do your background research first so that you can come up with some questions and really understand, have the question in the back of your head, why is this person a good fit for me and vice versa? What can I offer this person? So I would come a little bit prepared and do your research, because at the end of the day, this is where, first off, you're asking somebody to give up their time and their energy towards you. So you want to be super respectable about that. Keep that in mind. But second, this is your internship. This is your learning experience. What do you want out of it? How can this person help you get there? So I would kind of start from those questions.
That's great advice. I'm going to roll this over to Debra. So I'm sure you have this on your website somewhere, but what is some really good tips for that initial email? Because sometimes students are very weary about that cold email, like, we've never met, but hi.
Exactly. And we have, like you mentioned, we have several resources on our website that you can look at. But as Natalya mentioned, it's, short and concise, and, it's not just about the ask. It's also, what can you offer? And so, whether you're saying, hello, my name is Debra Wein, and I'm applying to the Wellness Workdays Dietetic Internship, and as part of that process, I'm asked to identify, certain preceptors, and I'm looking for somebody to host me for my community rotation. I have great passion working with children's nutrition, and an opportunity to help work with you for 240 hours, or however many hours, would be a really exciting opportunity. Could we spend 10 minutes on the phone over the next week chatting? So it's direct, it's to the point. You want to be professional if you want to include a resume. But the one thing that I find through the years is that students will send this email and say, never heard back. It's okay to send another email or follow up with a phone call. I get how many, we all are inundated. So you might get dozens and dozens, and dozens and dozens of emails each day. You might have the most wonderful intentions of returning Erin's email, but you just forget. And then it pops up again 2 days later, and you say, oh, that's right. Let me get back to her. I love the way she wrote. I love her persistence. Erin, why don't we set up a call next week? So I feel like some of this, persistence and professionalism, you want to think it through. You don't want to just say, I've emailed 15 people and haven't heard a thing. Well, also, if you ask them to meet you for coffee for an hour, why? Time is so precious. They don't know you, especially now with COVID. Nobody's coming to meet you for an hour for coffee, but a 10-minute Zoom call maybe might work. So, you need to really think about your audience, I think.
That's perfect. All right. So our students that are live with us, does anyone have any last questions for Debra or Natalya? All right, Debra, what is your final message to potential applicants of your program that you want to share?
Oh, thank you for that. Well, I just want to thank all of you for your time today. And I think, our final message is, don't be discouraged by a distance program until you fully appreciate the benefits. As I hope we got across today, there's some initial legwork that you need to do, but we help you every step of the way. And then the end game is a huge potential, completely customized program that you get to participate in. We have exciting, innovative concentrations, 95 spots. So we are open to finding people who are great matches for us. So don't be discouraged, concerned about, the distance. opportunity. Instead, you can email us, wwdi@wellnessworkdays.com. That email's on our website. Ask a question. Our team will respond within minutes typically, because again, we care and we're working to really build relationships with our, prospective interns and current interns alike. So thank you all just for joining us today.
That's so great. And thank you again, Debra. And for those at home, if you want more information on the Wellness Workdays Dietetic Internship Program and to get in touch with Debra and her team, check out the link that I have shared at the end of the description at the bottom of this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and check out all the other spotlight sessions that we have available on my YouTube page. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.